Did you know some of the most iconic Golden Age films almost didn't get made? Behind the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, there are untold stories of drama, risk, and sheer determination that brought these cinematic masterpieces to life. But what really happened behind the scenes? The Golden Age of Hollywood wasn't just about dazzling stars and unforgettable stories. It was a time of groundbreaking filmmaking that shaped cinema as we know it today. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on the making of the most iconic Golden Age films. From last-minute casting decisions to production hurdles almost derailing these projects, you'll discover the fascinating and often surprising stories behind Hollywood's most legendary movies. So, are you ready to journey back to the magic and mystery of old Hollywood, the rise of the Golden Age? How did Hollywood transform from a small collection of studios into the global powerhouse of cinema? The answer lies in the roaring 1920s, a time of innovation, ambition, and boundless creativity. Back then, Hollywood wasn't just a place, it was a dream factory. The early days of silent films had already captured audiences, but something monumental was about to happen. In 1927, the jazz singer introduced synchronized sound to the big screen, revolutionizing storytelling forever. Suddenly, movies could speak, sing, and come to life in ways no one had imagined. Technological advancements didn't stop there. The introduction of Technicolor brought vibrant hues to the screen, making films like The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind unforgettable visual masterpieces. These innovations weren't just technical achievements, they were game changers that redefined what cinema could be. Behind the scenes, major studios like MGM, Paramount, Warner Brothers, and RKO rose to dominance. These studios weren't just producing films, they were creating worlds. They controlled everything from production to distribution, ensuring their films reached audiences across the globe. But here's the twist. This meteoric rise wasn't without its challenges. With fierce competition and high stakes, the pressure to deliver box office hits was immense. Studios had to innovate constantly to stay ahead. So what was the secret sauce that made this era so special? Was it the cutting-edge technology, the ambitious studio executives, or the sheer passion for storytelling? Whatever it was, it set the stage for an era of cinema that would leave an indelible mark on history. The visionaries behind the scenes. Every iconic Golden Age film was shaped by more than just stars and scripts. It was the visionaries behind the scenes who turned dreams into reality. Directors, writers, and cinematographers worked tirelessly to push the boundaries of storytelling and deliver movies that stood the test of time. But who were these creative masterminds and what made their work so groundbreaking? Take Alfred Hitchcock, the master of suspense. His films like Rear Window and Vertigo didn't just tell stories, they made audiences feel as though they were part of them. Through innovative camera angles and psychological depth, Hitchcock redefined what a thriller could be. Then there's Orson Welles, whose Citizen Kane is often regarded as the greatest film ever made. Welles used daring narrative techniques and innovative cinematography that were years ahead of their time. But directors weren't alone in crafting cinematic magic. Screenwriters played a pivotal role in bringing these visions to life. Writers like Billy Wilder, who penned classics such as Sunset Boulevard and Double Indemnity, showed that dialogue could be sharp, smart, and deeply emotional. They created characters and stories that audiences could relate to, even decades later. And let's not forget the cinematographers, who painted stories with light and shadow. Greg Toland, known for his work on Citizen Kane, introduced deep focus cinematography, allowing every detail on screen to be in sharp focus. These technical achievements weren't just artistic, they were revolutionary. But here's the catch. These visionaries often worked under immense pressure. Studios demanded perfection, audiences expected magic, and the technology of the time was far from advanced. Despite these challenges, these creators thrived, proving that passion and ingenuity could overcome even the toughest obstacles. So what drove these filmmakers to take such risks? Was it their love for the art, their desire to challenge conventions, or simply the thrill of creating something timeless? Whatever it was, their contributions ensured that the Golden Age would be remembered as a pinnacle of cinematic excellence. What might cinema look like today if these pioneers hadn't dared to innovate? Stars that shaped the era. The Golden Age of Hollywood wasn't just built on breathtaking stories or revolutionary technology. It was the stars who brought those stories to life. They weren't just actors, they were icons who defined an era and captured the hearts of millions. But what was it about these stars that made them unforgettable? Take Marilyn Monroe, for example. With her undeniable charm and captivating screen presence, she became the ultimate symbol of glamour and vulnerability. Films like Some Like It Hot showcased her comedic timing and emotional depth, proving she was much more than just a pretty face. Humphrey Bogart, with his gravelly voice and rugged charisma, redefined what it meant to be a leading man. Whether in Casablanca or The Maltese Falcon, Bogart's performances oozed authenticity, making him one of the most beloved actors of his time. Audrey Hepburn brought elegance and grace to the screen. In films like Breakfast at Tiffany's and Roman Holiday, she became a style icon and a symbol of sophistication. Her unique blend of beauty and relatability made her an enduring favorite. Clark Gable, often referred to as the King of Hollywood, was the epitome of confidence and charm. His role as Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind remains one of the most iconic performances in film history. But behind the glamour was a complex reality. These stars often faced intense scrutiny, grueling schedules, and the constant pressure to maintain their public image. The studio system controlled much of their lives, dictating everything from their film roles to their relationships. Despite these challenges, these stars connected with audiences in a way that felt personal and timeless. They brought characters to life with such authenticity that viewers felt they knew them. So, what made these actors so magnetic? Was it their natural talent, their ability to convey universal emotions, or the allure of their larger-than-life personas? And here's a question to ponder. Could any modern-day stars ever achieve the same timeless legacy? Or was the Golden Age truly unique in its ability to produce such iconic figures? The magic of the studio system. Imagine a time when the entire film industry was run by just a few powerful studios. During the Golden Age, Hollywood's studio system was like a well-oiled machine, controlling every aspect of movie making, from casting actors to distributing films worldwide. But how did this system create such iconic films? And at what cost? Studios like MGM, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and RKO weren't just production houses, they were empires. They had their writers, directors, and technical crews, all working under exclusive contracts. Even the stars we adore today, like Judy Garland and Cary Grant, were tied to specific studios, which managed their careers and shaped their public personas. This level of control had its benefits. Studios ensured consistent quality by investing heavily in every detail of their films. They also had the power to take risks, knowing they could recoup losses through their vast distribution networks. For instance, MGM's musicals like Singin' in the Rain were dazzling spectacles thanks to the studio's resources and expertise. However, this control came with significant downsides. Actors and filmmakers often had little creative freedom. Stars were typecast, forced into roles that matched their studio-assigned image, regardless of their interests or talents. Behind the glamour, many struggled with grueling schedules and personal sacrifices to maintain their stardom. Despite these challenges, the studio system churned out film after film, creating a golden era of cinema that shaped the industry as we know it today. Audiences flocked to theaters, trusting that a film from a major studio would deliver entertainment, emotion, and unforgettable moments. Was the studio system truly a golden ticket to success? Or did it stifle the creativity of those working within it? Could such a tightly controlled system thrive in today's more independent filmmaking landscape? While the studio system eventually faded in the face of changing times, its influence remains undeniable. It was the engine that drove the Golden Age and gave us some of the most iconic films ever made. Could modern cinema ever recreate the magic of that meticulously crafted system? Cultural impact of iconic films. Golden Age films were more than just entertainment. They were reflections of society, shaping and being shaped by the culture of their time. These movies captured the dreams, fears, and aspirations of audiences, leaving an indelible mark on history. But what made them so culturally significant, and how did they connect so deeply with viewers? Consider Gone with the Wind. This sweeping epic wasn't just a love story, it was a lens through which audiences viewed the complexities of the American Civil War and its aftermath. Its themes of resilience and survival resonated deeply with audiences recovering from the Great Depression, making it one of the most celebrated films in history. Then there's Casablanca, a tale of love and sacrifice set against the backdrop of World War II. Released during the war, it captured the emotions of a world grappling with uncertainty and hope. The famous line, "Here's looking at you, kid," became a symbol of enduring love and nostalgia. Musicals like Singin' in the Rain brought joy and escapism to audiences. Released during a time of societal change in the 1950s, it celebrated the transition from silent films to talkies, while also providing a delightful reprieve from the challenges of everyday life. These films didn't just reflect their era, they influenced it. They shaped fashion, music, and even language. Phrases like, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn," became part of pop culture. Iconic moments from these movies were imitated and celebrated, cementing their place in history. But their cultural impact wasn't always straightforward. Many of these films faced criticism for perpetuating outdated stereotypes or glossing over social issues. Yet they also sparked conversations that laid the groundwork for future change in storytelling and representation. The question remains, how did these films, crafted decades ago, manage to stay relevant? Was it their timeless themes, their unforgettable characters, or their ability to connect with universal human emotions? Could any modern film capture the same cultural influence? Or was the Golden Age uniquely positioned to define a generation? Behind-the-scenes challenges. The dazzling world of Golden Age films might seem perfect, but behind the glitz and glamour were stories of incredible challenges. Every classic film came with its own set of hurdles, technical limitations, tight budgets, and even clashes between creative minds. But how did filmmakers overcome these obstacles to create such enduring masterpieces? Take The Wizard of Oz, for example. While it looks magical on screen, the production was anything but smooth. The iconic yellow brick road, it was made of linoleum, and the glittering ruby slippers were covered in sequins. Judy Garland, who played Dorothy, endured long, exhausting hours and was placed on a strict diet by the studio. On top of that, the heavy makeup and costumes caused health issues for many of the cast members, including the Tin Man, whose original actor had to be replaced due to a severe allergic reaction to his makeup. Another example is Gone with the Wind, which faced monumental challenges from the start. The search for Scarlett O'Hara took 2 years, with over 1,000 actresses auditioning for the role. The film's production was plagued by rewrites, reshoots, and even a change of directors. Despite these difficulties, the result was a visually stunning epic that won hearts worldwide. Technical innovation often comes with its own set of problems. In Citizen Kane, Orson Welles pushed the boundaries of cinematography with deep focus shots and dramatic lighting. These techniques required precise planning and a lot of experimentation, which added time and complexity to the filming process. Censorship was another hurdle. The strict production code of the time limited what filmmakers could show or say on screen. Directors and writers had to find creative ways to work around these restrictions while still delivering powerful, meaningful stories. Despite these challenges, the filmmakers of the Golden Age proved that passion and innovation could overcome even the toughest barriers. They didn't just solve problems, they turned them into opportunities for creativity. The question is, would these films have been as iconic if they hadn't faced such adversity? Could it be that these very challenges pushed filmmakers to achieve greatness? The decline of the Golden Age. The Golden Age of Hollywood didn't last forever. By the 1950s and 1960s, the world of cinema was changing rapidly. The studio system, which had once been the backbone of Hollywood, began to crumble, marking the end of an era. But what caused this dramatic shift, and why did the Golden Age fade away? One key factor was the rise of television. As more homes gained access to TV sets, people started spending their entertainment time at home rather than in theaters. Movie-going became less of a communal experience, and studios struggled to compete with the growing influence of television shows. At the same time, the younger generation was becoming more interested in stories that reflected their own lives and challenges. The films that once thrilled audiences, epic romances, musicals, and sweeping historical dramas, were starting to feel outdated. A new wave of filmmakers emerged, eager to tell stories that were edgier, more realistic, and reflective of the social and political changes of the time. Films like Rebel Without a Cause and The Graduate began to challenge the conventional norms of the Golden Age and captured the disillusionment of post-war America. Hollywood also faced financial pressures. The studio system's tight grip on the industry meant that many filmmakers had to work within its restrictions. As the system crumbled, independent filmmakers gained more creative freedom. This shift brought a new kind of cinema, gritty, raw, and sometimes controversial, that contrasted with the polished, formulaic films of the Golden Age. While the end of the studio system marked the end of an era, it also paved the way for a new, more diverse era of filmmaking. But even today, the legacy of the Golden Age continues to influence the way movies are made and appreciated. What then can we learn from the Golden Age that still resonates in modern cinema? Now that you've uncovered the secrets behind these iconic films, can you imagine how different Hollywood would be if these stories never made it to the screen? If you enjoyed diving into the making of these legendary movies, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more fascinating stories from the Golden Age of Hollywood. Trust us, you won't want to miss what's coming next.